There's been a second American found dead in Medellin, Colombia in the past 2 weeks. In this video, I read two more stories. Follow along.
You're watching dcbornrob, erasing borders. And now, the news.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. Thanks for watching. My name is Rob Christian, also known as dcbornrob, Rob. I answer to them all. If you're getting any benefit out of any of my videos, do me a favor, go down and hit the subscribe button, click the bell to be alerted of any new videos, and like helps the YouTube algorithm. Okay, this first story is from Minuto 30. It's entitled, What Happened? In an apartment in El Poblado, they found a dead gringo. This is dated September 14th. Inside an apartment in El Poblado, a lifeless foreigner was found in the last hours. The discovery of this person was recorded in the evening of Monday, September 13th, on the 5th floor of a building located in the El Poblado sector, Comuna 14 of Medellin. The find in El Poblado, regarding the events, it was known that the man had been seen in the building the day before when he entered the apartment in which he resided. In the hours of the night of last Tuesday, a person who frequented him arrived and asked the guard to call the foreigner. However, he did not respond to the call or to the door. It is at this moment that the doorman becomes concerned and decides to enter. Finding the victim lifeless on the bed, he immediately called the authorities. At the moment, the cause of death of this North American man are unknown. It is unknown if it's a homicide or natural death. But I want to put this out just as a general reminder about scopolamine getting scoped, which is also known as the devil's breath. It is running rampant. I am seeing numerous stories about it. I'm going to do another video on it soon. And this may have happened to the other gentleman the past week or so ago. So stay tuned for that. My next story is from El Tiempo. It's entitled, They Investigate the Death of a Foreigner in a Luxurious Apartment in Medellin. The man was found dead inside the building. His identity is unknown. There is a consternation in the El Poblado sector, Medellin's pink zone, over the recent acts of violence that have taken place there. The most recent had to do with a body found dead in a building of a southern neighborhood in the capital of Antioquia. According to the preliminary versions, he is a foreign man whose identity and nationality are fully unidentified by the authorities. Apparently, it would be American. According to what was reported by the portal Minuto 30, on the night of this Tuesday, September 14th, an acquaintance of the deceased arrived at the apartment and asked the guard to call the foreigner, who did not respond to the phone call or the door. It is there they decided to enter the apartment by force and find the man's body on the bed. They immediately alerted the authorities to what had happened. So far, it is unknown if it's a homicide or natural death or another event. Figures from the Information System for Security and Coexistence indicate that this year, in this area of Medellin, 5 people have been murdered, the lowest record of Comuna 16 in the city. Okay, now I'm going to read just a couple more paragraphs because this refers to the story that I informed you about a couple of days ago, the gentleman that was found at a hotel in near Parque Lleras. This one is entitled, Foreigner Was Poisoned in a hotel in El Poblado. So it did come out. And by poisoning, I'm going to assume it's scopolamine. What else could it be? It states that the victim is a 30-year-old man. His body was found on September 5th. The authorities reported the murder of a 30-year-old man of Dominican nationality whose body was found in a hotel located in El Poblado, where he was staying after arriving in the city. So far, the identity of the victim is unknown. His name is in my other story. According to the report of the Information System for Security and Coexistence, the discovery of the body occurred on September 5th, 2021, although only until this September 14th, after the analysis of the Institute of Legal Medicine was determined that the cause of death was murder by poisoning. The authorities are investigating who the man was and what the reasons were for his stay in Medellin, as well as the clues that allow finding those responsible for his death. Likewise, the homicide report for September 14th also includes 3 other events that occurred in the past few days, but which had not yet been classified as murders, as they were under the concept death to be established. So there's going to be a couple more. There's a rumor about another one. There's a picture on Facebook of a gentleman, not going to say his name, Let me throw out props to Carlton with Carlton Travels Adventures again for giving me the heads up to even look for the second one. I'm going to assume that it's a different one. So a lot of people said in my last comments that it must be an issue of Colombia. It's just dangerous. It's just dangerous. I'm not going to go. It's just dangerous. And a lot of comments like I put out too, like, my city probably, I don't know, 10, 15 people got killed last night in Houston. So we all think that every major city in the U.S. is just as violent as can be believed. But with that said, one of the other viewers or someone who commented that, it's an issue of tourists being murdered in that city, which got me to thinking and reached out to a couple of resources. But I landed on this one. And this is back at, if you're a traveler, you must go to travel.state.gov, the State Department's website. Gives you chock full of information. But they have a section on here, U.S. citizens' deaths overseas. So what you can do is you can sort. It only goes back to June of this year. So I'm going to go back to from June of 2020 up until June of 2021. And I'm going to say specifically, you can choose the country. I'm going to say specifically Colombia. Search. So how many people do you think it was? Now they show all deaths of foreigners. So it may be a vehicular accident. Who's to say? So in this list right here, you see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Get in here, play around with this also. There's a lot of information. If you can't find the link, let me know and I'll send it to you, or I'll put it in the body of the description for this video. And it shows where it was. Cali, Colombia, on this state, Santa Marta, Guamal, Cuarna, Pereira, Barranquilla. Barranquilla for 2021 is Timothy Reed. Okay. For 26, if you're not familiar with the Timothy Reed case, go back and look for my videos on that, American killed in Barranquilla. And that was back on April 20th. And it just shows which ones were which. Okay, undetermined. So there may be 2 or 3 other undetermineds that have not been classified as murders in Medellin right now. So vehicular accident, homicide, drowning, another vehicular homicide. So 1, 2, 3 homicides of Americans from June of 2020 to June of 2021. So as you see, it's not that high. There's I'm going to do another video on this because I'm just touching on it right now. But there's a way to see by warning which country, according to the State Department, to put the warnings out. Is it an issue of the most warnings that go out have the most murders? It's not an exact correlation. It's a lot of good information there, though. But what I want to do right now is just to go back. So hang in there with me. I want to go back and go to all countries. And before I click on this, I want to ask you, what do you think is the most violent country for tourists, for American tourists around the world? A lot of it's going to have to do with murders per capita and murders per square size of the location and the amount that we visit. So with that said, can anybody guess what's going to be number 1? It's so far ahead of everybody else. It's unbelievable. And it's not Colombia. Okay. So I just wanted to dispel the myth about, not myth, that Colombia is so violent, it's way more violent than a lot of other places. I mean, if you come from the city like I do, and I come from DC, it really, it never bothered me at all. I didn't get the warm and fuzzies a few months ago when I was there. Yeah. And that was right after the lockdown, and crime has increased. I will put that out there. I'm sure crime has increased because people have been locked up and they're hurting financially. So, and desperate people do desperate things. So let me, did I search June, all countries, June 2020, June 2021? Okay, here we go. So Anguilla, I'm just going to scroll through these really quickly. You see one here in Argentina, Aruba, vehicular, Australia, Bahamas, 3, Bangladesh, Belarus, Belgium. You're looking at ones, 5 here in Belize, 3 of which are drowning. A lot of the coastal ones have Americans that go out, they'll jump off a cliff or crazy stuff, climbing a mountain or whatever. Then it happens. And believe it or not, if you look through all of these, Paris, Belgium, all these beautiful places, Spain, Rome, these people are committing suicide. At least that's how they were classified. So Brazil, 1, 2, 3 on this page, vehicular on 3. Okay, Brazil has another 3 on this side. Bulgaria, the guess is still up. Cambodia, we're almost at Colombia, so I want you to see Colombia. Well, you've already seen it, but now you see it again compared to the other ones. So let's jump to the next page. Colombia, let's see. Costa Rica has a few. Again, drowning. Homicide. It's not a lot. Dominican Republic. Okay, Dominican Republic, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 vehiculars, a drowning and a homicide on this first page. On the second page, it is a little bit more. Okay, vehicular, drowning, vehicular, suicide, and suicide. So not a lot of murders there. Ecuador. We are still concerned with the brothers there. Remember, look for my videos on the brothers attempting to gain their release by a second trial in Ecuador. They've been held wrongfully, I believe, for 4 years. Almost said months. Okay. Vehicular. All of this is vehicular here. El Salvador. Dangerous place, right? 1, 2 on that first page. And you get to the second one. And look, other. Vehicular. Homicide, drowning. So really only one homicide from there of American tourists. Okay. Ethiopia, Fiji, France. Okay, I'm going to skim through a lot more. You'll see France here. Suicide. It's beautiful. How? Germany. Suicide. I just wanted to show you, okay, Honduras has homicide, drug-related undetermined homicide. There's another one to note, and that is HI. Let's get through to J. I noticed that Jamaica had a few. Suicide, vehicular, homicide, drowning, undetermined, homicide, drug-related, homicide, undetermined. Okay, but I'm going to just skip straight through. Well, I'm not even going to go through every country. You can come back here on your own. I'm going to go ahead and pick the country that is number one for murders for Americans, and that is where is it? Mexico. That's right. It's nearby. We go more often. It's larger, and per capita, this is the list for Mexico. And this is from the same time frame. Homicide, other, homicide, drowning, suicide, homicide. And I want to see, look, I want you to just see how many pages this is. This is just Mexico for the past year. Homicide, vehicular, other. I have the numbers totaled in another format that I'm going to do in another video. But I wanted to put this information out during this time because it has a bearing on your thoughts on these past two murders, possibly 3, possibly 5, according to the one story. You need to know that overall, by comparison, for foreigners, Colombia is relatively safe. Do you have to keep your head on a swivel? Yes. Do you have to be careful in certain areas, in certain circumstances? Yes. If you're socializing with people who, I'm not going to put out the industry, but there are industries there that you are more likely to get got dealing in those industries. It's just as simple as that. And then the location you are and who you're with. Let somebody know, at least this guy had a friend who came and checked on him the next day. You need to have somebody that can check on you tonight. Hey, listen, I'm here at midnight. Look for me at 1 o'clock. Hey, here's a picture of me here. Here's a picture of me with the address of a place out back. You need to be safe. We need to think ahead. Use our community group. If you'd like to join our community group, there's strength in numbers. I just had somebody go last week and he said he met a couple people and they hung out, and you are safer. There's strength in numbers. If you'd like to join that group, email me your name and WhatsApp number to dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com, dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com. I want you guys to travel, but I want you to travel safely. Please be safe.
We have a YouTube channel, like it.
Please comment and share if you like the video. Please subscribe and kick the bell.